Not long ago I watched this Ripley show on Netflix and it impressed me as a photographer so much that I decided to make a video about it right away. As a street photographer and photographer in general, I was blown away by how good each shot of the series looked. It's like you could stop almost any frame of the show and just enjoy how well everything was put together and captured. Also, the fact that the show is in black and white helps. I saved some screenshots from the first episode that I liked the most and want to look at with you. I think it can be very inspiring, especially for street photographers, as some of the big shots of places are amazing. If you haven't heard about this Ripley show, it's a new version of a 1999 movie called The Talented Mr. Ripley. That movie had Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow and Jude Law in it. In some ways, the 1999 movie is better than this new show, especially because of the actors. In this new show, the only actor I liked was Andrew Scott, who played Tom Ripley. The others, except for the inspector, felt a bit boring, but still the shots in this show make up for that, and it was really fun for me as a photographer to watch. If you enjoyed this first episode breakdown, I might review other episodes too, so let me know if you'd be interested. Don't forget to subscribe and let's dive right in. To be honest, for the first episode I made 160 different screenshots. That's how much I enjoyed it. But out of all 160, I tried to pick the best ones to share with you. So the show starts with Tom's apartment in New York in 1961. There are some nicely put together close-up shots, and the main view of the room tells us a lot about Tom's character. He's struggling in life but has some dreams he'd like to make come true. The picture on the wall shows that, and I like how it crossed with those wires. It fills the frame nicely. Also, that shot where Tom tries to reach the picture on the wall is telling us that he's dreaming of a better life. The same goes for the shot of him looking out of the window, which has great straight lines and reflections of other buildings that kind of frame or lock our main character in his not so good reality. Then the first shot of him walking outside. Just look how well everything is placed. It feels like Tom is in the middle of the frame, but he isn't, as that would be too obvious and lazy. The things around him are also placed well, with some guys on the left, one walking down the street, another sitting on the right, a car driving from the left, and even a cat almost above Tom. All the lines are perfectly straight and the shot just looks beautiful. Then there's a scene at the bar that I found interesting. It's made to feel very big and open, yet our character feels only a small part of the frame. This will happen a lot throughout the show. I think these types of shots help us feel how little and small Tom's character actually is. Without giving anything away, he isn't a good character in this show. It's interesting how in the 1999 movie, as I remember, Tom Ripley was kind of forced to do some bad stuff after some of his actions. But in this show, Tom is shown right away as someone who makes fake documents and bank checks. So again, these types of shots nicely show this side of the character. Not to mention that this bar scene is nicely put together with some repeating elements like chairs and chandeliers, for example. In this shot, this setup again makes the bar look longer and makes our character look smaller, especially with this investigator who looks taller than Tom even though he sits further from the camera. Then Tom rides the subway and we have this beautiful shot of a man sleeping on the train, but we see some people in the front, which makes the subway feel busy. This shot from below on the subway also looks interesting, with the ceiling fan completing the composition, as well as the bar on the left creating a feeling of peeking from below instead of just looking straight ahead. This shot of Tom on a subway also looks nicely put together with a nice touch of someone's hand visible in the frame on the left, again adding to the feel of a busy subway. And of course, the last shot of an arriving train at the station that is symmetrically composed, with a few people waiting on the sides as well as a few walking towards the camera. Just a classic composition. Next are a few scenes with Tom walking towards his apartment, and this particular shot of a shop owner standing in the doorway looking at the street, only his outline is visible, looks quite nice. The chair and the table on the side also looks inviting, although there's only one chair, so it isn't clear whether it's meant for the shop owner and he isn't actually that friendly. Tom crosses the street toward that shop, and here we have some beautiful geometry of straight lines that works very nicely. Even this pole in the middle of the scene doesn't doesn't look out of place at all. Then there is this beautiful shot from above when Tom turned around the corner. As I said, there will be lots of shots like that throughout the show that I like the most. It looks so creative yet adds a lot to the story. It's like no matter how the story goes, don't forget that Tom is a little man inside. Beautifully composed, with the biggest portion of the frame taken by the subway bridge and the alley with the building more towards the left side of the frame. Shot of him entering his apartment building, same as before, but now with some random guy laying on the right and a car passing by. And a few more simple shots like that which look nicely composed. Here in the apartment I liked how the picture on the wall is lit by the light coming from outside, and when Tom comes to the window he blocks that light with his body, which is very symbolic and has a bigger meaning for the rest of the story. Then there are a few shots of Tom sitting in front of some government building, which are quite simple and classic with the columns in the background. Then this shot is more interesting with Tom placed almost at the edge of the frame, again adding to how unimportant he is in that reality. Also a nice touch of a pigeon underneath him and some person passing by without even noticing Tom on the side. Another very good establishing shot of Tom entering the bank, lots of arcs and columns in the frame. Again, feels like we are following Tom and peeking from above. The next shot again creates the feel of peeking, since at the bottom there is a visible part of the table or some wall in the foreground. And then shots of him rushing out, showcasing the beautiful location. And in this shot the security guy is nicely placed between the bars, indicating that for now Tom has escaped, but the shot itself is nicely composed, with Tom being in the front, then the security a bit further back, and then some clients even further back in the scene. Then we have Tom arriving at the shipyard, and scenes again composed as if we were peeking from the side. This scene where we see Tom is nicely composed. Almost everything in this shot looks perfect. All the lines, the placement of the exit door, but the chimneys aren't perfectly placed. So it gives the feel of the location being real, even though it could have been created afterwards, and they could have placed those chimneys right in the middle of the gap, but they didn't. Then walking inside, and again our character feels small, as well as in this shot with the shipyard owner, but everything in this scene is placed perfectly. We have people in the background that feels seen nicely. We have the column that breaks the scene into a few parts. Even the handles on the left add a nice touch and feel of depth in the scene. I like this shot of Tom in the evening outside his window burning some papers. Great composition, straight lines, lots of them, and the feel of loneliness. Other shots from that scene are also great and nicely add to the overall feel. Then Tom leaves New York on a ferry and ends up on this train towards Naples. Here he finally enjoys some luxury and even uses that leg rest like he's trying to soak everything in while he can. Beautiful composition with all the lines. Upon arrival we see Tom from below, and he looks taller than people around him, with this arc above his head like he is important, but still people bump into him like he's actually nobody, bringing him down to earth. But the shot is very well composed, with each element serving its purpose and filling the frame. Although these few shots look like they could be computer generated, I still like them because they again give off that feeling of peeking from a distance, making us feel present in the scene. Then when he arrives and while he's holding money, Tom is shown above the taxi driver. But when the taxi driver leaves, we have these nice shots from a distance that again reminds us about who Tom really is. In the morning the bus arrives and there are few shots, but I like this one with pigeons the most. The scene is nicely split into 1/3 and 2/3, placing the pigeons on a statue in that 1/3 part of the frame, leaving the bus in the background out of focus. And then we have some nice shots of the bus on the road, with Tom finally arriving in this small Italian town by the sea, with this beautiful shot from above and also from below that looks as good as the previous one. Then of course some classic street photography shots of local people spending time there while Tom walks past them. Then he was climbing to the top of this small town and had to climb lots of stairs. It was nicely shot, combining differently composed images that actually make you feel how tiring it was for Tom to go all the way up. At the top, the housekeeper tells Tom that he needs to go down actually, and here again Tom is shown as small and not that important. Then he walks back down and there are some more nice street shots of that place. Here Tom comes to the beach, and although this shot is nicely composed, I like this next one way more. Again, it's like we are picking from somewhere. Very interesting and uncommon type of the shot. So here you have it. I hope you liked this video. It was fun for me to make, taking all those pictures from the show and looking closely at all the details. I think shows like this can give great ideas to street photographers. They can help us find new ways to take pictures of streets and people. Let me know if you want to see a breakdown of the second episode. Also, tell me about other shows or movies you know that look this good. If you haven't watched the Ripley show on Netflix yet, I really think you should try it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button so I could see you in the next one, but for now, have a nice day and keep shooting.